I think we are live.
I think we are live.
It looks
Welcome,
like we're live.
everybody, and salud.
That's right.
With my Bell Hop Slam.
There we go.
Salud.
Salud.
That's
Everybody,
right.
Cheers.
I got my BS Brewworks from Springfield, Tennessee. And this is something new that we are trying. Some of you may know some of us, but we want you to get to know us a whole lot more. Manny, you're going to have to unmute again. Sounds like an ice machine gone berserk. We're losing him again.
No, he's okay.
Is he back? He's back. He's back. He's good. He's back. He's good. So off to a flying start in this. So this is something that we have talked about for a long time. Going, I guess, as they see it, right to left. Would that be how it is, or left to right? So
to my left and my right. So I'm in the middle. So I have like over here. Well, is Manny. Over here is Jason.
I'm Jason, as you can tell by
Chris.
Right there. And then we got Manny over. Actually, no, he's over there. So it's like the Brady Bunch right now.
Or I can do this.
Well, then I have to start pointing up and then over and then over. So anyway, so you're probably wondering, what exactly are we doing here? Well, Manny here is the editor-in-chief. Is that the right term to use, Manny?
Director.
Editorial director.
My grammar isn't good enough to be an editor-in-chief, honestly.
Of musclecarsandtrucks.com, a site all about automotive news, especially performance-oriented news. Chris and I are part of that. We're advisors and partners in that. And we decided that Chris and I, are going to resurrect something that we started in 2014 called the beer. Actually, I always got this wrong. Gears and Beers show, because we like to talk about cars and we like to have a beer amongst friends. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And since we're part of the musclecarsandtrucks.com family, we thought, let's resurrect it again, pull it together, and start doing live stream to talk about automotive news in general and do a recap of all of the performance automotive stuff that came out on the Muscle Cars and Trucks website, talk about it, BS about it, get you, our audience, to engage with us. And maybe even if we do this a little bit more, we'll start bringing you guys into the show, onto the air with us. But for right now, we should just start kind of jumping into it, right?
Yeah. I'm currently checking the live stream to make sure we are broadcasting live, and it does look good. There's people watching us live right now. So it actually looks pretty professional, guys. It really looks pretty professional.
Oh, of course, because we've been doing this a while now. We're doing.
Are we not drinking professionals?
We are, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share this to. I'm going to share this to the Camaro Show Facebook.
Cool. And I see that it is live on my YouTube channel, where this is being hosted on YouTube. Why is this happening on my YouTube channel? Well, because I'm selfish and I want the traffic. No, also because we do have a musclecarsandtrucks.com YouTube channel. However, it is very new, it's fledgling, and it doesn't allow live streaming. So I'm going to use my personal channel in Jason's Garage as a bit of a surrogate to help get this out there. But what I encourage everybody to do is watching this, make sure you head over to the Muscle Cars and where's Manny? The musclecarsandtrucks.com YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe there. Once we get enough subscribers for YouTube to allow us to stream to it, that's where it's going to go. But for right now, I get to host it on my channel here in Jason's Garage.
That's right. And so, cheers to you.
Well, thank you, kind sir, and cheers to y'all. Cheers to everybody who's watching. Let's see here,
Manny. What are you drinking, Manny?
I am drinking a beer from Shorts that I found at the store. It's called Splurge.
Splurge.
If you know anyone who follows Shorts, their beers come and go super fast. This is a double India Pale Ale.
Oh.
But according to the label, it's more of a double IP bay. You get it.
Got it.
So, scary part, doesn't tell you how much alcohol is in it on the bottle. I had to look it up. It's over 9%. Fantastic. It's a very double IPA. It's a fresh, good Michigan beer, and it's been a long time since I I had something from Shorts, and it feels like I'm hanging out with an old friend. So
excellent. Jason, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking. This is a Crowler.
Crowler Brewworks.
This is from one of my favorite breweries here in the Nashville, Tennessee area, BS Brewworks. These guys are great. I bought this last weekend as a special occasion to have on this festivus special evening. This is their Ace of APAs. It's an APA, 6.7%, and it's really, really good balance stuff. So anybody passing through the Springfield, Tennessee area, by all means, look up BS Brewworks. These guys are great. It's a cool place just to have a beer. It's kind of on the quieter side. You can have a good conversation. Food's good, and just the people in general are pretty cool.
Perfect.
So special thanks to BS Brewworks for, I don't know, just for making this. I still had to pay for it.
And I am drinking a delicious Hop Slam. This is Hop Slam season right now in Michigan. Only comes out once a year. Double IPA brewed with Michigan honey, and it's a wonderful, wonderful. Always one of the top rated beers in the country every year. It comes in at 10%, and Bell's Brewery from where are they at? Kalamazoo. I think they're in Kalamazoo, around there.
Yeah, they're
yeah. So
didn't we go
always
there,
one of my.
Did we stop there once after we drove the Camaro at what's that track called? Gingerman?
Gingerman. No, I don't think so. I didn't.
Swear, I usually, like, if I go to Gingerman Raceway, I always got to make a stop in Kalamazoo, and I either go to the
We almost stopped at Founders. We almost remember that one night.
We were supposed to. I forgot what happened.
We were lazy.
We were supposed to stay in Founders. We ended up staying on a highway motel again.
Yes.
It
sounds
happens,
creepy,
right? And we drive to.
That was the Z28 drive.
It was the Z28 drive.
Yes.
Talk about like the Camaro to have, and they're what you can find them for 35 now, maybe a little less.
Absolutely.
You've got the money, man. So if things go ridiculous next week with the stock market, maybe I'll cash out and buy a C28, just mothball it and hang on to it and wait for the appreciation to go up and sell it. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to that stuff, but it's been a wild ride. I'm loving the solidarity, right? I don't know if you guys seen the meme, but there's a or I'm gonna call it a meme. It's like a photo, and it's Donald Trump Jr., AOC, Ted Cruz, what's her name?
AOC,
Elizabeth Warren, and then David Portnoy, and they're all just like ripping on Wall Street and Robinhood, and you're just like, on like 2 weeks ago, right, or even a week ago, these people all hated each other in one form or another, and here you have this amazing unity happening, and I love it because I think people needed that, like after so many years of bickering. This is something that everybody's just coming together on, and I'm here for it. I'm also one of those guys who's just playing it, see what happens, and it could go really sour for me. What are you gonna? You're literally fighting the system, and the system doesn't perpetuate its own demise. So, it's all just like, is the short squeeze really going to happen? Well, not if Robinhood just keeps, damming up all the traders, because I think what's happening is that most of that activity was on that one platform, on Robinhood, and the Redditors, the meme traders and stuff like that. They're not on E-Trade, they're not on TD, they're not on anything else. But so Robinhood is under a lot of hot water from a lot of people. I'm like, how are you allowed to, limit trades on GME, which GameStop, right, the big one, AMC, the theaters, which honestly a good buy. You assume that theaters are going to reopen again. Like,
Right.
why? What are you doing shorting theaters?
If they can
So,
survive.
anyway, that's been the week, and I feel like it's impossible to talk about auto news this week without opening up with that. And also, to be fair, kind of hard to focus on auto news this week. But that said, it's been a week, and just today we had the new F-150 Raptor teased, and that's of course everyone's really excited about it. They're a pioneer for the segment. They created the off-road Baja production truck, and this is the third generation of the Raptor. And the first one had a 6.2 liter V8. Everyone loved the engine. It was also a fairly simple truck, and so like it was more affordable than the second generation one. The second generation one had the 3.5 EcoBoost, which was an engine shared more or less with the Ford GT. The Ford GT is, of course, like, way more race car, but it is, at its core, basically the same engine. So that's really cool that there's that part sharing there. People still couldn't really get over that you went from V8 to V6, especially in the truck market. These people are, that market, just like the muscle car market, they're diehard about the V8. And it's not just the sound, it's not just the power, right? It's a smoother engine. It just is by nature. It's a smoother engine, and yeah, it does sound better. And like even for some automakers like GM, for example, where they just can crank out a small block engine every 2 seconds, like they're cheap to make. So,
I remember when they came out with the V6, and I was really surprised. I thought this is never going to work. People are going to just kill it, and they did for a little while. They really said that everybody's like, oh, it's not a V8, it ain't crap, that sort of thing. But it stood the test of time. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. It also looks amazing. The second gen Raptor looks amazing, and I've had some crazy adventures with that truck too, man. Like I took one to Silver Lake, and I legit had it 6 feet in the air, all four wheels off, and like I drove it home. Nothing bad happened to that truck. It's just a tank. And so when they say build Ford tough, they mean it. And so with this third generation one, big shoes to fill, especially as it's coming in after the Ram TRX, which has the Hellcat V8, 702 horsepower, and just, the biggest, meanest, fastest, baddest brodozer anyone's ever seen. So you've got big shoes. You got high expectations for the Raptor for a truck that's completely written the segment. The official reveal is February 3rd. And so we'll have everything on Muscle Cars and Trucks and possibly some exclusives come February 3rd, and then following the next couple of days. So it's a very exciting product, and I can't wait to share with everyone all the details. And on the other end of Ford,
that's right. I was gonna say you've got this new Raptor coming in, and then out of nowhere you have E.
So just there was a recent filing that points to Ford using the E-150 as the electric F-150 name.
Right.
So I think it was CarBuzz that pointed that out. They were the first ones to find it, and everyone's like, "Well, isn't that the van?" We all know the E-Series.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah. So they stopped making the E-150 in 2014, and predating that was the Econoline, right? That was the whole Econoline cargo van thing. And then Ford started offering the Transit, and that kind of like, I guess like it was that made the E-Series redundant, and so that name was on the shelf, and instead of F-150 electric doesn't really roll off the tongue, if we're honest. E-150 I think is a little smoother. If not, it is basic, right? It's a basic name, but I think it's to the point. Not a lot of details yet about the E150, the electric F-150 truck, but I believe by next year they'll be making them. They'll be making them in the same plant as the F-150 plant. They're kind of like the line sort of like forks off, and on one end you build the electric trucks, and then on the other will be the standard trucks. So they're making it not just like the Hummer EV, which is like a rich, like, $100,000+ truck. They want to make it more like a work truck. They want to show people what electric trucks, the benefits of electric trucks, and what they can do for work. We'll see if that market bites, but I want to say there's like around 10 new electric pickup trucks coming between the end of this year and by like 2023, 2024, like different.
So they're not just going after the Cybertruck.
They are going after the Cybertruck, or are they? Right? Like, because I'm of the personal belief that Tesla is going to do what it wants, and that
it does.
with Cybertruck, it's not. Everyone's like, oh, it's breaking convention, bro. You don't even know. That's revolutionary. It's like, okay, you live in a loft in San Francisco. Where are you gonna park that thing? For one, like, you don't realize how big these things are until it's like, so you're gonna picture like every tech bro in the West Coast, and then like several of them on the East suddenly are gonna be able to live with these things. It's like, if you've never lived with a heavy duty truck before, like, a Silverado 2500 or an F-350 or a Ram Power Wagon or anything.
No desire.
They're
need.
They're so big now, right? They're so big now that like they're almost impossible to live with, especially if you live in an urban area. Like, what are you doing with one of those trucks if you have an apartment garage, or if you have to street park it? Again, like,
good luck.
The Cybertruck no one else could get away with that except Tesla, right? Like, if everyone just wants whatever Elon Musk is doing, and to his credit, like, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. He's done some cool stuff, and he's done a lot of things to disrupt the auto industry in a positive way. But at the end of the day, I look at that thing and I'm not sure. And I'm also not sure that the Cybertruck customer is going to be the same as an electric F-150 customer, or even an electric Silverado customer, or whatever Chevy, eventually offers. They've teased it. They teased it at the Barclays presentation, I think a month and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And so you realize that everyone is kind of playing in the same space. Everyone's trying to funnel into this white space market, which the verdict is still out on how big it is. And with electric vehicle sales, they are creeping up. But then you got to stop and look at like who's really winning in that space. And it's only really Tesla. Like,
what's the price point?
It's a price point thing. And so like when you want the price, if you're paying so much, sometimes it's not even about features and content or build quality for that matter. It's simply about clout, right?
Yeah.
So like if you can offer a machine with clout, then people will go for it. And really, in that space, when it comes to clout, it's the Musk machines. And you want to see Hummer, the new Hummer EV, kind of like knock that down a little bit, because I think what Al Oppenheimer and his crew, what they're doing over there at GM, I think is pretty cool, and I think they really know what they're doing. It's a fast truck, it's a powerful truck, it looks good, and the interior is dynamite. I think the interior is probably the best thing about it.
Which one?
Hummer EV.
Hummer.
Yeah.
And then of course they have LeBron James, who is pushing the truck as well. They're one of their influencers and marketers for it.
they could give LeBron James a check, and he would be an influencer for, I don't know, anything, you name it. I mean, you give anybody a check, you could be an influencer for anything. But of course, he's got the name. Remember what was the Super Bowl commercial last year? Where it'll be almost a year now, right? Where that commercial where it's silent with the silent, it was dead silent. Everything. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. So let's take a step back and take a broad view of things, right? We talked about the E-150, the electric F-150 possibility. We talked about the Cybertruck deliveries, how that's going to happen at the end of the year. At least we started alluding to it. And then and all these articles are everything we're talking about is derived from all the articles that come out daily, Manny, right on musclecarsandtrucks.com. So we're just kind of scratching the surface, hitting the top level of it, but all the details are on the site. You and the rest of the writing team, you and the rest of the writing team work round the clock to just crank articles out like crazy. And a lot of them are exclusives, right? Yeah, right. Right on. One of the things that I saw you guys write on the site is, well, in your words, GM is going full California.
Yeah. I actually, let me pull that up real quick. So General Motors promises to be carbon neutral by 2040.
What does carbon neutral mean to anybody who's new to it?
They want to go carbon neutral by 2040, and then they also want to sell only EVs by 2035. So you're looking at, realistically, so 15 years from now, you got 2 product cycles left before the party is really over. But then you got to wonder too, like who's pushing this? Is it market demand or is it government regulation? A lot of it's government regulation. When you want to, I think everyone wants to save the planet at the end of the day. I think everyone cares about the environment. I think everyone knows that we only have one planet, except Elon, who's trying to go to Mars. But it's just like you got to. I think people are a little skeptical on how much of a difference this stuff is going to make, especially when you're creating an entirely new industrial complex around it that is highly decentralized, that requires tons of freight, tons of movement, precious metals to be mined that we can't get here in the United States, for example. And it's a huge undertaking. And because it's a huge undertaking, that it's going to require a lot of resources and a lot of time and a lot of money. And with those resources, you got to wonder, it's like, okay, well, how much emissions is that whole chain going to produce?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than trying to just like tweak and fix and improve what we got here, sort of like setting the house in order, but we're burning the house down instead and building another one, which is, sane.
Yeah. Honestly, this is how much I know about it. I did not know what carbon neutral meant until we started talking about it. I'm like, I'm just going to look it up. And that means 0 vehicles coming out of the plants with emissions. It's 100% electric. That's the goal. Am I reading that right?
Yeah. No tailpipes.
Okay.
No tailpipes.
I remember. Do you guys remember what? Gosh, was it 10 years ago, give or take, the whole gigantic E85 push that was happening?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to preface, I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember somebody was saying it's like it takes 2 gallons of gas to make 1 gallon of E85, that sort of thing. I don't know how true that is, but Manny, is what you're saying kind of along those lines? How much emissions are the factories going to produce to make the electric vehicles?
And to GM's credit, and I think that's really where a lot of the solution lies, is to make factories and freight and things that maybe aren't so near and that are purely just tools, that aren't just pieces of art, that aren't just expressions of freedom, that don't speak to the soul of somebody. Mm-hmm. And yet are massive and highly resource intensive and require a lot of energy to operate and run. I think focusing on that and cleaning that up it might be the actual fix. You know, and then there's of course people who just say, well, if we just go vegan, we can save the planet. Maybe. Maybe
We will all be eaten by cows.
Well, yeah, we'll all be eaten by the cows.
Because they're going to overrun the world.
So
that made sense in my head before I said it. I will say that.
Look, I don't want to really speak out of turn. It's not my expertise. But that said, like, just what I understand and what I have read is that even though that vehicles, automobiles, personal automobiles, they do produce CO2 emissions. No one's going to debate this. No one's going to argue this. It's just a matter of, like, you know, how much of an impact is it actually going to make? And then also you got to look at, like, what it's going to take to get people to buy the product. Because right now EVs are expensive. And, you know, it's always this sort of, well, if you get the tax credit, then it's this much. And it's like, okay, the average transaction price of an automobile, and this is scary, the average transaction price of an automobile in 2020 was more than the median income of the average American household. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? So we're gonna have people, like, is this how we're gonna live? We're gonna buy cars that we really can't afford, right? Well, it's like, and then again, it's like, well, the operating cost is cheaper and this and that. It's like, okay, so again, it's just one part of the puzzle, right? What about your residual? What about your insurance? What about your repair costs? I read the other day, I think the Model 3 cost like 16 grand to replace the battery, or somewhere around that framework, and like, that's expensive. That's expensive for anybody. And then it's like, okay, so what's the longevity of the batteries? And again, like, what happens? Like, can you just go in there, and how easy is that to fix and things like that? Well, it's like you can swap the cells out, sure, and they're making them hyper modular, which is good, right? Because that makes it easier to maintain
and fry yourself.
And that's the other part of the equation too. Is like, to find people who are skilled in fixing EVs. Right now, it's a small number. Expected that it should be a bigger number. You know, you could just job retraining. You can get someone who's a diesel mechanic, maybe learning how to fix BEVs, that sort of thing. But even still, like, we still don't have enough diesel mechanics. We still don't have enough automotive techs. We still don't have enough truck drivers. We still don't have we still don't have what we need.
Why?
And we're like, and everyone's like, oh, well, that's a wash now. Let's just be futurists. Okay, I guess.
You know, I was thinking about something. Sometime around the turn of the year, buddy of mine, I got to ride in a Tesla for the very first time. Chris, I know you've owned a Volt. I had a Volt for a pre-production Volt for about a week many years ago. It was pretty cool and different. But I got to actually ride in a Tesla, a brand new Tesla Model Y. And it opened my eyes. It really did. Riding in that car, seeing everything about it opened my eyes. And it was maybe a couple, 3-4 weeks later on, I was, boy, this is going to sound terrible. I was selling the H-pipe from my Z06 because I've got headers on it, and I may or may not have put cats back on it. And I was cleaning up the H-pipe because it was kind of grimy, and I thought, you know, if I'm going to send this to somebody, I just want it to ride clean. And I never thought this thought before. That thought was, God, gasoline-powered engine cars are dirty. And it just popped into my head like that. And it's because I rode in that frickin' Tesla. And I was just thinking, it makes sense now.
I just want to clarify, I'm not anti-EV.
I'm not anti-combustion engine. It changed my perspective.
Yeah, it's like, it's different. And like, you know, I had 2 Chevy Volts. I had a Gen 1 and I had a Gen 2. And like, I like first of all, like it built, 2 miles away from where I live.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You had one too, Manny. You're over here. There we go.
Yeah. And so I like, I love the car. I loved it so much. I autocrossed it. I autocrossed the Bolt.
That's right, you did.
I autocrossed it for like every year that I had that.
How many people do you think have done that?
There was one guy actually when I was up in Escoda for an event. He came up to me, he approached me, and he says, "It's like, hey, how long you been doing this, like this and that?" And he started asking me questions about it because he had one. He came up from like Kentucky or something to do this.
Wow.
Event. And yeah, man, people come from all over for these things. It's pretty cool, even though they're like super low key. But a Skoda is special because it used to be a B52 base, and it's insanely large. And there's a company that basically does they convert planes. They scrap them, and then they also convert planes into cargo planes, passenger planes to cargo planes. And so you see like retired Alitalia, and Air France and whatever, like 747s flying in and out just to like live there for the rest of their lives. And it's this massive runway, so you can have these massive planes. But where we run the cars specifically is where they would stage the B-52s, and there's the doomsday bunker just over yonder. The door's welded shut, and there's these massive like vents, just off to the side of it, and you just kind of get a sense of like, what the hell is this place kind of thing. And then I didn't catch on to it like at first, but like to get in there, you gotta get through this gate, and then there's like this giant like kind of guillotine style like gate that lifts up so that you drive through it, and then there's also like there was a gatehouse for security, and then you just realize like, oh shit, like this is kind of like high. This was at one point like a very high security place. And now it's like it's abandoned. It's not what it's nothing anymore because I suppose the Cold War's over, at least with Russia, maybe. I don't know, but it's like that the B-52s. That was their flight path. Was like they would fly from Escoda, go over the Arctic Circle, and then go drop a nuke on Kaliningrad or something. That was the point of Escoda, and eventually it lost its purpose.
So you were in a Chevrolet Volt autocross club. I happen to be in a Ford Escort drag race club.
Okay, pause. Not an autocross club. There is no Chevy Volt autocross club.
Well, there should be.
Go on about your drag race club because that sounds great.
Oh, I just made it up just to frame what you were saying. That's all.
Detroit Region SCCA. There's, and it's really cool place because GM also has their performance driving team that competes.
Yeah, those guys show up all the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're quick, and it's cool too because they'll come with, I want to say like 20 plus drivers, and then like a whole row of new performance cars. So they've done cool stuff with a Camaro. They took a Camaro turbo and they basically turned that engine into a bomb. They made it like 500 horsepower, 2-liter turbo, and it sounded just the weirdest. Like, so it sounded broken, like, but it was super powerful.
It's riding the ragged edge of disaster is what it's doing.
Absolute ragged edge of disaster. And then they did something cool with an ATSV as well. The guy, his name is Alex Doss, and he cut the fenders so he could fit 315s like in the front, 305s and 315s in the front, just so. And then like the thing, it wouldn't, you couldn't steer it all the way because there was so much rubber, and it was just like this really wicked LF4 twin turbo V6.
Oh my gosh!
He took out like the rear seats and like all the stuff in the trunk. We wrote about this, I think back in like 2019. This thing was an absolute monster, but 2020 season didn't really pan out too much, unfortunately.
2020 didn't pan out for much for a lot of people.
I did go to a Skoda once. I had a GT 500. Ford was generous enough to let me take a GT 500 up there.
Is that the one you slept in?
That is the one I slept in. I slept in it. So I was like, it was late, and you know, I never sleep well. We camp on the tarmac. You can't sleep on the grass because apparently it's too toxic because of the chemicals they were putting on the planes, which is like, but you can sleep a foot away from it. That's fine. And then, you know, turns out
there's got to be a line somewhere.
It's that place. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of like ugly chemicals all over that facility, and even like the lake where I used to like jump in, like in between runs, or like sessions. It'd be a morning session, afternoon session, like in between sessions, jump in this lake, and then like, you know, a year later, you find out that it's full of PFAS, which is like you know, I think it's chemicals, and isn't it? I think it's a fire extinguisher. Something like that. It's like super toxic, and I
do lines of it. So
you can't sleep on the grass. You can't swim in the lake. It's like, what's going on here? You can't drink.
It's because of all the emissions. Don't you get it? If you don't understand, you're what's part of the problem.
Right? Yeah. So like, if we just buy electric cars, then
there's a South Park episode about that, isn't there?
See, like they could probably take the old Prius episode and just throw Tesla in there, change nothing else, and it would still make sense. That also shows you how timeless South Park is.
Thanks.
It also shows you how timeless South Park is, and like,
yeah,
how slow actually truly we move as a culture. So it's like everyone is just constantly shouting at each other, but in reality, like, nothing ever happens.
That's right.
So
art imitates life, or the other way around.
Right. It's like, what are we doing? You know. And to segue, because this is the perfect segue. So
all right.
The Hummer EV is racing.
Great one.
In a racing series called Extreme E, which is absurd. Okay. It's a spec off-road rally truck series where the trucks are all electric, and they'll go to like extremely remote places and race the cars, and then preach to people about global warming. So picture that, right? Like,
how many trucks in the fleet?
How many trucks? Oh, man, that's a I don't know.
The Hummer.
They do have to like show up by like boat.
By what?
By boat. Like they'll put all the. I think they put all the vehicles in boats.
For what
then,
purpose?
Like, they'll show up to like Antarctica, run over some penguins,
and
then like go home.
That's not funny.
It's
if it was
it's not
true,
funny.
It wouldn't be funny.
So I'm on the site now. Extreme E, the Electric Odyssey. Oh my goodness.
Well, do we have an article about this?
We don't cover racing that much.
Maybe we are.
We cover muscle cars and trucks.
There we go. Chip Ganassi Racing Extreme E. Good looking truck contraption thing for whatever it's worth.
So it's a little opener on the Extreme E website. We bring electric racing to some of the most remote corners of the planet to highlight the climate change challenges faced by different ecosystems, whilst, W-H-I-L-S-T, whilst, showcasing performance of all-electric SUVs in extreme conditions. It is absurd. It is absurd.
I agree.
Let's go to the Amazon, bomb the rainforest with our trucks, and then like peace out and preach about climate change is basically what I'm hearing there.
How do the trucks get there again?
I'm pretty sure by like freighter.
And what powers those freighters?
Bunker fuel. So like, I mean, Lewis Hamilton is apparently like a. I don't know if he's got a team. I know he's an investor. again, like it is odd. It's a wild.
You
It's
see
a
where I'm
wild
going,
racing
right?
series.
There's been a recurring theme throughout this. We're talking about the emission, and I'm just bullshitting now. We're talking about the emissions the factories release to make the electric vehicles. We talked about how somebody said it takes 2 gallons of gas to make a 1 gallon E85, and now we're talking about using some extreme combustion engines of sorts to get
No. These are
electric
electric
vehicles.
trucks. These are electric trucks.
But how do the electric trucks get to their destination? Not electric boats.
They're not electric boats.
I'm all for
Williams,
it.
Well, so Williams Racing is part of Williams. Advanced Engineering is part of it.
I'm just saying, maybe it's a means to an end.
Like,
I'm okay with that.
I mean, and for what it's worth, like, you know, electric vehicles in motorsports isn't really, again, hasn't really worked out. Formula E is a joke, and automakers are leaving as quickly as they came in that racing series.
For now.
I think what's going to happen, and this is going to suck, but that Formula One, when the technology is there, Formula One will go electric when the cars can finish a race on a charge. Because they don't do fuel stops, right? So you got to think that there's got to be a parity there where the energy density in a tank of fuel, eventually that energy density will make it to batteries. And
maybe. Hope so.
Maybe.
I guess.
I mean, maybe, I guess, like, and if so, so what? But, like, I'm not going to get, like, hooked on that being a huge difference maker. Because, again, like, the climate changes.
Yeah, right now it's freaking cold in Tennessee. How's it in Michigan, by the way?
So clear skies, I want to say teens. It drops to teens.
It's 16 right now here.
16 degrees.
Oh, I guess I should not gripe. I should not gripe. I shall take it back.
I will say though, I was looking for this. I was looking for a really super cold, dry, starry, full moon, kind of night.
But it was nice with sunshine. We've had nice sunshine for the last couple of days, so that's wonderful.
Like I got like a south facing like house, so like the kitchen window is just like I got like I got like a fig tree and a goji berry tree, and they're just sitting there. They're just eating the sun and they're being cute. I garden, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, don't be saying that.
No. So yeah, I got adorable little plants, and they're drinking up the sun.
Do you have their name? Do they have names?
Fig tree and goji berry.
Oh, you're a terrible plant owner. Terrible. You gotta give them names. Otherwise, how do they know you're talking to them?
Fair. I also keep them in the kitchen, which I always like smoke up because I'm always like cooking meat. So
burning up lamb.
Every plant, like I don't know what else to do. I really don't know what to do if I don't eat meat.
Every plant I've ever had has had a name.
Had? You don't have a plant?
I had a plant that a friend of mine named Jake Robb, Chris, remember that son of a bitch?
Yep.
Gave me about 10 years ago, and my wife killed it. And I named that plant Jake because my friend Jake gave it to me. And that was right about when the whole Jake logo, skull logo for the Corvette was a big thing. So it just seemed to fit, So I named my plant Jake, and I liked my plant, and then my wife killed my plant. I still miss Jake. I'm going to bust out crying here in a second. I'll be right back.
So moving on, you guys want to move on from electric cars?
No, because I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big thing. I mean, we talked about a lot of things in this episode so far, and that's the emergence of electric vehicles. That 10 years ago, when my friend Jake Robb gave me that plant, that's when Fisker, remember Fisker?
Yeah.
Was coming out with their... No, I've barely even seen one. I've seen like 3 of them in my life. But that was when I actually said, if this comes to the fruition that I can see in my crystal ball, then again, this was 10 years ago plus, that the future motorheads, and I've said this a bunch of times on the CamaroZ28.com podcast, the Camaro Show podcast, the future gearheads are going to be volt heads. Those who can harness the electrical energy instead of the motorized energy, the gasoline energy, the drive shaft and differential and everything, but who can harness the actual electrical energy. Are we going to see electric, this is going way ahead, but electric NHRA? I think we will. I think we will in our lifetime. And in fact, I think we might in a few years.
You're seeing glimpses of it, right? Like you're seeing, I mean, I think NHRA is going to be, they're absolutely holding the line. They like, the sound, the drama.
Oh yeah.
Those
you
things,
can't replace that.
I mean, those things are like bullets just shooting out of a barrel, man. And then, of course, like there's always a catastrophic engine failure, like in the middle of the run. And then, this is like
blows
like
the
Leah Pruitt
body off and everything.
had an insane crash just like recently.
But you remember, like about 3 years ago at SEMA, the e-Copo?
Good point.
Yeah, I do. And then they tried to sell it and it was a no sale and no one liked it. And no one seemed to really be sold on the e-crates, again, like because they're using the the battery pack of a Bolt EV and trying to retrofit it into a vehicle that has to like have the space for it. So really it's just like K5s, K10s, C10s, old trucks in general, right? Because they can just, you throw that in the bed and that's it. But it's like, okay, now what do we use the bed for?
But that's what's like SEMA's all about is taking these vehicles and showing what you can do with them. I don't know if it's necessarily supposed to be practical.
Right, but what can you do with it? And it's like, it's one thing for like some sideshow booth to like show something like what's the thing, like I saw like someone had like etched like engine blocks and pistons and stuff like that and like bezeled headers and things like that, and I'm like, what's that?
I remember that. It's to show what they can do, not what they should do. What they can do.
It's what can you do. But when we're looking at OEMs, you kind of expect something a little bit more, I want to say, pragmatic. You had oppositely, right? You had the Ford Lithium concept, which was revealed also SEMA 2019. And that was a pure electric Mustang, not the Mach-E, but the coupe, the actual Mustang, and pushing like almost 1,000 horsepower, I think.
And everybody was like,
I think it was more interesting than say like, what maybe it is. It's like it's the tone, like Ford Performance is kind of coming in and just be like, what do you think about an electric car if it has 1,000 horsepower?
I think it's great.
Versus like, what do you think about a Copo Camaro that's actually slower?
I really think that they didn't bring out that Copo Camaro to say, what do you think now? They brought out to say, what do you think just in general? Kind of just test it. Here you go. We can do this. It ain't great, but it's not bad. It can still pull the fronts up a foot.
Silently.
Get. I don't think they anticipated selling. I think the only mistake they made was anticipating how much they could sell that very car for. That was the only mistake they made. I don't think that bringing it out was a mistake. In the overall scheme of things, what we're talking about here, let's circle back, E150. I can't even say 150 without throwing F in front of it. E150, the Cybertruck, the Hummer. All right, if you give it another year or two, tops, and if they were to bring that electric Copo out 2 years from now, it would have taken off much better than what it ever did. Oh yeah, I'm right. You like the idea.
I don't hate the idea, but I know that this market segment specifically, when it comes to like Mustang, Challenger, Camaro, and then also the same kind of with the pickup trucks. It is largely the same psychographic. Like I'm sure almost identical. And I don't. It's not for them, right? And because it's not for them, you gotta like be like, well, who's it for? And that is the big mystery, because you're suddenly depending on someone who doesn't like the Camaro Cache, otherwise I would have bought one, to suddenly
Chris and I get that. There we go.
To suddenly buy one or to suddenly be interested in one. And that's, that's tough.
How about this? What do we start this off by talking about? The F-150 Raptor. And remember when I mentioned that when I heard that the next generation Raptor was not going to have a V8, it was going to have a V6, and I thought, it's doomed, it's going to suck, it's going to fail. And it proved itself, did it not?
You got a lot of kicking and screaming.
But it proved itself.
You still got people bought, not everybody, but F-150 who had Gen 1s, they bought it reluctantly. Because at the end of the day, it was also the only thing in town. Like, Chevy doesn't have a Raptor rival, and Ram up to last year didn't announce a Raptor rival. And then when they did, they kind of kicked it in the teeth because they're like, here's a supercharged V8, bitch. We got 702 horsepower, bitch.
Well, yeah, Dodge is yeah.
They're nuts.
How about this? If that V6 that everybody kicked and screamed about didn't work so well, why is it that, I'm not saying it did or didn't, but if people thought it didn't work so well, the engine proved itself, and it proved them wrong, because that's what we started this episode out about, talking about the third generation Raptor with another, guess what, V6, yes?
I can't say.
Stay tuned to musclecarstrucks.com to find out.
Stay tuned. You got to stay tuned. February 3rd, and we'll write everything.
Actually, I thought we did know that, so that's how much I know. But you understand my point here is that perhaps that it's the attempt of, there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of companies that have forced change through this, and there we go. What do we got here, Chris? What are you showing on your screen?
Dodge CEO Tim Kuniskis thinks EVs can save Challenger, Charger, and muscle cars.
Save. Now, I have not seen this article. I've seen this article. I didn't read it. Manny, what do we mean by save?
And maybe even improve them.
Are they in danger?
This is a report from CNBC, and it was written by my buddy Mike Wayland. And what it is largely, similar words and a similar tone echoed from Tim that he said to us. And so I want to say we'll go back. We have fantastic Tim Kuniskis interviews on MC&T, dating all the way back to, I think, June 2019. All you got to do is type in Tim Kuniskis on the search bar, and you'll get everything. I'm very proud, very happy with the sort of sound bites that I get from Tim. He's a great guy to interview, and truly someone that is one of the few last guys holding the torch. So, hats off to him for everything he's doing over there at Dodge. In this interview specifically, he did mention how electrification can improve the muscle car, which is true. It can. Especially if it's Dodge's approach, right, which is minimally invasive. If you remember, I want to say at the turn of last decade, GM was doing e-assist everything, or maybe it was towards 2013, 14, 15. It's e-assist everything, mild hybrid stuff. You lost a little bit of space in the trunk, but you gained a lot in fuel economy, and you kept your engine. It wasn't really a rough thing to drive, like in some sort of like dual mode hybrid systems. You're constantly like the engine almost sounds like it's fighting the battery, not recharging it. So,
you're right.
It's like, if you've ever been in a taxi, like in New York or something, it's like an Escape hybrid, a Camry hybrid, like all those old things that have been absolutely beaten into the ground, and they're still moving. It's just like you just hear that undulation, that fluctuating engine RPM. That's just what it is. It's constantly it's this, trying to constantly optimize, power, range, everything. So that's all variable. The e-assist stuff, from what I remember, doesn't really do that. And Dodge, while not commenting officially, there is a bit of a paper trail in suggesting that what is next is going to be some sort of hybrid, muscle car, but also not just a muscle car, maybe a hybrid Grand Cherokee, a hybrid Durango, because they use ZF for the 8-speed transmissions in all like rear-wheel drive applications, pretty much. So Ram, Charger, Challenger, Grand Cherokee, all those 8-speed automatics. And so because they're such a crucial supplier to FCA, they announced a press release. I'm pretty sure it's a press release. They're saying it was like, this was the biggest or second biggest order in the company's history, and it was for specifically transmissions that could support electrification. But they're transmissions, right? So in other words, there is an engine. And so you got to think, okay, well, what's a performance hybrid look like? And what can that deliver to us? And, you guys remember when GM sent that customer survey out asking if they'd pay for that hybrid V8?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know how well that went, but, it could be something like that.
Yeah.
Where you have crazy power, but by the way, Dodge already offers crazy power. They offer crazy power for the dollar more than almost anybody.
It's a different kind of power.
That's what they're unbridled, high octane, purely internal combustion engine power. Yes.
Yeah,
compared to
what I'm saying is,
yes.
Electric is No, I was thinking the other way. Electric is a different kind of power. It's instant on.
It's instant on. It's also kind of like when you get higher up in speed, that instant on is like instant maybe.
And that's where the future gearheads become the volt heads to make that threshold to keep it from dipping, to keep it going.
I mean, when you look at like horsepower and torque numbers of an electric car versus horsepower and torque numbers of a regular car, they feel different, very different. Like when you experience them.
That's what I was talking about riding in that Tesla. I was like, whoa.
But it's always that's the sort of like shock value that, no pun intended, that electric cars can give you, because it's like, you can just go watch this to your friend off a traffic light, and their friend's just like, whoa, and that's it.
That's what I do with my Corvette. That's great.
Right. And there's more drama when you do it with your Corvette. But also with your Corvette, not saying you do or don't, but some people might do pulls on the highway.
Not me.
Not you. Of course not. But if you do pulls on the highway, it's still a way more effective way to race in a gasoline engine than it is with an electric. Electric's all like the others. Like, well, look at my 1/8 mile. Look at my 1/4 mile. Look at my 0 to 60. Look how fast I can pull. But you want to go to 200? You want to go?
No.
250?
Not my cup of tea.
That's still
talking crazy, Manny. Talking crazy.
Technology needs to
crazy. All right, we got to do a pause for station identification, as they used to say. This is the musclecarsandtrucks.com Gears and Beers show, live stream. That's right.
Or is it Gears and Beers presented by Muscle Cars and Trucks?
Oh, no.
Sponsored by Muscle Cars and Trucks, presented by Jason's Garage.
You know what? It's just a big old conglomeration. But here's the deal. We really appreciate those who are watching, tuning in. We got a few comments here, and it looks like they're coming from the YouTube channel. If I'm reading it right, we've never done this before. No, it sounds so real good. So first and foremost, we got to get to this before we go too far because Chris will start getting bored. Chris Williams, who will be the first to get a full electric Camaro? Chris, I would assume Chris Preza, or Jason myself.
Well, are they going to have? Are they even going to have a full electric Camaro? So I mean, that's
a good question.
Like, never say never type of thing. Like, are they ever going to have a flying Corvette? Like, what?
Yeah.
All right. I can help this. First of all, Chris, thanks for obviously you were either a part of CamaroZ28.com or the CamaroZ28.com podcast or the Camaro Show podcast. Thank you very much for the recognition because I think that's where you probably come from. Let's just go on the assumption that there will be an electric Camaro. Chris, do you think it'll be you or me?
Yeah, you really think they're going to call back the disciples for an electric Camaro?
Probably me, since you don't like Camaro anymore. You just want Corvette.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true at all. I still like. In fact, what do you see? What do you see right there? What's that? What is that? That's Camaro.
Wow.
What do you see over there? That's a 2010 Camaro right there. What do you see? What do you see right there? That's a 35th anniversary Camaro right there. What? Don't tell me I don't like Camaro. I do like Corvette though. I do like Corvette. Golthazar, golf. That you know who you are. You like the way I do my videos. Well, thank you very much. If you're just tuning in, you didn't see the beginning. We're hosting the Muscle Cars and Trucks Gears and Beers show here on my channel until the until the Muscle Cars and Trucks YouTube channel reaches enough subscribers to where we can move this over to that. So I guess we got to talk about is how do people go to the musclecarsandtrucks.com YouTube channel so they can subscribe to be the permanent home of this show. What is the? I don't even know this myself. Manny, do you happen to know off the top of your head?
What's that? You go to YouTube and you type in Muscle Cars and Trucks. You go to channels.
Subscribe.
And you hit subscribe.
Right. So
let's get it up to 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
I got a couple of videos I still need to upload. We haven't uploaded anything.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, let's see if we can throw that in the window here, just so we can give people an easy. Is it youtube.com/c/musclecarsandtrucks? Is that how it is? How does YouTube do it? Nope, that's a fail.
Here it is.
You got it, Chris?
I think so.
Muscle Trucks and Cars.
New Orleans Gold. It's a beer to drink. Swedish real beer. Oh boy. I like this closely.
Beer. Big fan of Swedish beer.
Galtzer? Oh gosh, I am so sorry, man.
Norrlands Gold is the beer to drink. Swedish real beer.
Boy, he's probably gonna come. What does a Swedish beer taste like?
Omnipolo. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. But they're a Swedish microbrewery that I really like. You can get some of them here. They actually just did their final release of a beer called Yellow Belly, which is sort of their.
I got one of those.
You have Yellow Belly?
No, I'm talking about what's on me. It's attached to me.
Oh,
it's a joke. Never mind. Screw it.
Anyway, it's a really high gravity beer, and they wrap it up in a paper bag, holes cut out, and it looks like a Klansman. And it's actually they like No, it's supposed to be like a critique on racism, and that's what yellow belly means. It's like you're a coward. You're hiding under a mask. You can't.
That was kind of the joke, but I didn't think it'd go there. But yeah, okay.
You can't bring yourself forward into showing that you are a racist and things like that, and it's a good beer. But that was I think their final release was last year.
Cool.
There it is. There's Muscle Cars and Trucks Facebook.
There we go.
So right now we got a start
31
video.
subscribers.
We got a startup video of the Silverado with a Chevrolet Performance exhaust.
Yeah.
We have two ride-along videos. We got a ride-along video with the Dodge Durango Hellcat, and then we got a ride. That's at Carolina Motorsports Park. And then the other one is at Road America, and that's with a Ford GT.
Oh.
So please feel free to watch those.
Yeah, and here's the deal. If you're just tuning in, the reason why the Muscle Cars and Trucks YouTube channel is rather sparse is because, Manny, you don't have the time. You and the writing staff do not have the time to make videos like Chris does. Chris pumps. Where's he at? There he is. Chris pumps out a video every other week where he's shoving food into his face, and it's usually hot or weird. And I put out a video every 3 weeks about what's going on in my garage right below my office, which a lot of you guys tuning into my channel, you've never seen my office before. More on that sometime later in the summer. But Manny, you can't make videos because you guys are writing article after article after article after article on musclecarsanddrugs.com.
It's a full-time job to do video. Like, to do videos, what you need to do now is full-time job.
Oh, yeah. And those who are good at it become full-time. But your specialty is article writing and news, bringing automotive news to the masses.
My background's a journalist, and what am I going on now? It's 2021. Since 2009, I've been doing this. I've been writing professionally, and eventually you find your specialty. And you hone it and you craft it and you just try to be as good as it is as you can be. And for me, that's a full-time job. If anyone wants to help us with videos, hit us up. We're available.
By all means. So here's the thing, as golf club says, just tuning in 2 viewers. That's right. You guys are beta testing. We just decided to do this. We barely planned this, and we did not promote this, and we're just going to do it. So, having said that, would you like us to do this every week? Talk about the latest Muscle Cars and Trucks news, and of course, Chris. God, I'm going to get this right here. Chris, wait, hold on. Chris, Manny, and myself crack a beer every Friday for. This is going on an hour and a half, but for maybe an hour. We can talk and bring you guys into it. We can actually send out a link to include you. Click on your web camera, get your own beer, get some of that New Orleans Gold. Again, apologies if I pronounced it wrong. And be a part of the show. We're thinking about doing this. This is exactly like the eCopo. This is just to kind of put a feeler out to see what do you guys think. Is this gonna pass or fail? So you guys are amongst the first in the door to this little. That's right. You got to start somewhere, and that's I'm just learning on the spot and going off the cuff. Who needs an excuse for that? In fact, Chris,
social, you see.
Chris, throw me in the green room. I got to go get another beer.
Is that it? Is that all the comments?
Let's see. We got this one here. That's the way to do it.
This is kind of a pause in the action, by the way.
Chris says, I was always hoping for a Camaro show video stream. There you go.
This is basically it.
This is basically it, yeah.
So there's not a lot of change here. Familiar faces all around.
Familiar faces, familiar places.
Right, yeah. Although I don't remember the Mortal Kombat arcade when I was there last
I picked that up last year.
I haven't been. Well, I haven't.
Well, I mean, with the pandemic, I mean, yeah.
In a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah. We should pick up that thing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So when did I pick that up? Last December? Last January? Something like that. Yeah.
That's it. Oh, wow.
It's a fun machine.
Mortal Kombat. Well, I mean, as far as stuff to still talk about.
Well, here we go. Says, I know Jason's videos, but who are you guys? So, Goldzar, I am Chris. I started CamaroZ28.com with Jason back in 1996, 97. And we went from there. Oh my gosh. I can't even believe it's been that long. I really can't. It's crazy.
When Chris met Jason, his beard looked like mine.
This is very true. This is very true. Yeah.
So
and you were in kindergarten.
I was in elementary school, yeah.
Wow.
I think 2000 I was in middle school. Yeah. And I guess I got to talk about myself now. So, where to start, Chris?
Yeah.
Where to start? I've been an automotive journalist since 2009, and I live in Detroit, and I specialize and have always specialized in the domestic automakers. I have, I would say, like, whatever crazy stuff you've read about the Camaro or the Corvette, it's usually my fault. Yeah. Like, in some instances, Challenger Mustang. Like, it's been just nonstop. Like, when you want to talk about, this is one I'm kind of proud of, especially because it's still holding to be true. Everyone trying to figure out how to tune the Corvette. In 2019, before the car even was revealed, I was telling people that they weren't going to be able to tune it. And sure, no one's tuning it. There's no, it's not stopping anyone from bolting a turbo kit on it, saying for world's first turbo Corvette, and it's like world's fastest turbo Corvette, but you didn't ultimately calibrate your ECU.
Yeah.
And
I keep waiting for someone to say they cracked it.
No one cracked it.
I know.
Give it time.
It's encrypted. You really, truly, like, it is almost, and the level of cybersecurity that they got to this, like, that they did the development end at this point, or to get to this point. I mean, they got people like hackers, freelance hackers that work in cybersecurity at Apple, all sorts of stuff to really make sure that this thing was a vault. And
they can suck it. I'm keeping my Z06 forever.
I was gonna say, like, well, here, you guys really want to go down this rabbit hole. I think we're at the precipice. we are at the precipice of an utter, like, destruction of the aftermarket. The performance aftermarket is going to die, because if we're gonna deal with encrypted ECUs and very much like, how does it go? Like, only the OEM can beam you the tune via OTA, or only an OEM performance shop can do this for you. And again, they won't, because they're subject to all these emissions requirements. And you're going to see, and I bet you during the next couple of years, you're going to see at maybe more regulation on the aftermarket, if not a much closer eye. And so when it comes to specifically performance, it's going to be, even though that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, it's still gonna have a hard time staying alive when you have all this convergence between like regulation and also technology. So you have now the OEM has the ability to completely hold everything under lock and key, and to actually, quote, even though you bought your new Corvette, you don't own the software. You don't own that programming. And I forget what's called, like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I think it outlines this, and it applies to cars. And this is, in a similar fashion, Tesla doesn't do anything for people trying to do performance tuning on their products. And they hate it when you try to fix the car yourself. And if that is going to be, if everyone's going to follow Tesla, and if that's going to be the road forward, we're in for a nightmare. Like it's going to be actually worse than people thought, where it's not going to just be electric cars, which is the other thing too, because the electric car stuff is just minimal hardware, super strong, powerful software. And because of this, like, you start to realize it's like your sort of freedom to personalize your vehicle and make it faster, make it slower, make it do whatever you want. It's like it's evaporating. It's literally it's coming real swift and heavy now, because it's not just GM with the C8, right? You can't tune the new Yukon, you can't tune the new Tahoe, you can't tune the new Suburban, the new Escalade, you can't tune the new Cadillacs
yet.
You can't tune. You're not going to be able to tune the new Bronco. That's another rude awakening people are going to have.
So ultimately, what are the manufacturers they're going to work out these side deals with these aftermarket companies, saying, so you guys are going to get. It's almost like they're leasing like API tools, but they're going to be their cybersecurity tools. So you can unlock this portion of the ECU, or you're going to have an independent company that's going to either figure out a way to side load their data so it's going to bypass. Well, it's probably going to be like a replacement or a side loader for the software. So you don't have to initially crack their software. You just load your own.
There's I don't know if you can do that with encrypted stuff.
Maybe they're going to want to get to where if you want to mess with your car, you got to bring it to your local Chevrolet dealer and tell them what you want, and their specialist will do what they can within a safe level. Therefore, there are no warranty claims and blah 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 blah.
Here's another market sign. Lingenfelter is the exclusive electric, or the exclusive e-crate installation company for their pilot program. Lingenfelter is the exclusive one, because Lingenfelter probably realizes that electric tuning just might be it. But also because Lingenfelter is such a good, reputable company that they're, as I was told by a GM executive once, the good guys, we got to choose who the good guys and the bad guys are. What does that mean, GM executive?
I know the answer to that question.
So, but either way, like Lingenfelter is very obviously very in no question one of the good guys. So they're set up for the pilot program, and should that grow into something more, Lingenfelter Performance might be Lingenfelter Electric Performance.
Ken's no idiot.
No, well, have you seen his car collection? He's no idiot.
I could pick up the phone and call him right now. He probably wouldn't answer, but I could call him. Here's the thing. To answer your question, who's the good guys and who's the bad guys? The good guys are the ones that are going to make us more money. The bad guys are going to be the ones that cost us money. End of story. That is it.
But like, do third-party tuning companies actually cost an OEM money? I argue.
Warranty.
Warranty. This, that the aftermarket is actually the OEM leaving money on the table.
Chris, what are you doing?
You, Chris?
Coffee. Oh, wait. let's take a pause here because, again, I'm going to say that I don't know how to say this. Galtzar? Balthazar. He knows who I am.
I'm gonna open this up so I can figure.
I already looked. I'm sorry, and I don't mean any disrespect. I just don't know how to pronounce it. So he knows who I am because he's seeing this on my YouTube channel. But this is actually being streamed on the MuscleCarsAndTrucks.com Facebook page. Who are these two guys? Who are these two guys here?
When you went to go get a beer, we introduced ourselves.
Oh, you did. Yeah. You did. Okay, because I had to take the head earpods out because you guys didn't need to hear me taking a whiz. So,
it's all good.
Beer. So, anyway, station identification. This is the Muscle Cars and Trucks show. This is the Gears and Beers show brought to you by Muscle Cars and Trucks. Skull. Oh, Skull. I'm Jason. If you're seeing this on my YouTube channel, for now, you know me, Chris Frezza, my partner in crime,
for many years.
And then, of course, our friend Manny. Gosh, we've known you for many years. How did we even meet you to begin with?
We were at a Camaro event. I think was the first time.
Vegas.
Which?
I think it was Vegas.
Maybe SEMA. Maybe SEMA.
Yeah.
And then we were also on the flight back together.
I was probably drunk.
Oh, I think
well,
so.
It depends on which SEMA. There's several SEMAs that I had not a drop, and I just lost a bunch of money. And the other ones I didn't spend any money on gambling, and I spent it all on liquor.
Was it okay? So Chris, you and I were at the New York Auto Show in 2013.
Yes.
Oh, I do remember that.
It got revealed.
Yes.
We interviewed Mary Barra back when she was running GM Product.
Yep.
But was that the first time?
No, because we met before. I think were you at the convertible, the 5th gen convertible and 1LE drive and Gingerman?
Yeah.
That was before that.
Wait, no. I was not. I'm thinking of the one at what's his name? Spring Mountain, the Brown Fellows. Where they did Camaro convertible and I think some 1LE drives. That was
6th gen.
It was 6th gen.
Yeah.
Shoot, maybe 2012, maybe SEMA 12.
We'd always meet up at the Heritage Center for the preview for SEMA too.
That's where it was. I think that's where we started connecting. Was there, and that's what I remember anyway.
Yeah.
Who said hi to who first? I don't remember. I do not remember the introductions. I rarely do, actually.
Yeah.
I really do.
Just like a mutual, hey, what's up?
Just sort of, it's gravity.
One thing that Chris and I have always been known for, I'd like to think anyway, is that if people know our names and they come up and say our names, we're friends with them right away. That we're happy to meet them. And it's usually what was back in the day, usually a Camaro event or a Camaro related event back when the old grind line of Camaro was present. Scott Settlemeyer, Cheryl Pilcher, John Fitzpatrick, and all that. Times have changed in that regard. You don't see that social engagement anymore. But it was along those lines. So yeah, I mean, gosh, how long have we been together on Muscle Cars and Trucks? It's been going on. It'll be 2 years in May, something like that. I don't know, something like that. We've been. I lose track of time, but we've been. What's that? Oh, we're losing them. And either way, Chris, we decided to start MuscleCarsAndTrucks.com. Brought Manny in, had Manny be a part of it. It's all cool, and that's what we're here for. Something else I want to talk about. I found out today that the owner of the company that I work for has been trying to start something like Spring Mountain here in Nashville.
Really?
And I didn't know this until today. And I'm like, I was ready to like send him a direct email going, I've been working for you for kind of a while now. Do you know who I am and what I know and what I can do? And why am I wasting time on this other project? No, I love my projects that I work on. It's not automotive. But I tell you what, if he ever brings that to the light of day, I'd be the guy for it.
How awesome would that be?
Yeah, back in October of last year, he started something called the Nashville Motorsports Enclave. And he's the owner of my company is a car guy, and I've talked to him probably about 3 times. And suddenly I realized that we've got so much more in common. So I was really, really happy to hear that. And I can't wait till when I get to go back in the office, if I run into him, I can start talking cars with him. So it seems like they're they got literally a greenfield startup on this, because there's videos of him standing in a field saying, this is what could be a road course / just like Spring Mountain, with the garages and the lodging and the clubhouse and all that. I was really stunned that I haven't heard about this before. So I'm super excited about that.
Motorsports Country Club things are actually there was a story a while ago. I'm gonna look it up right now. They're basically replacing country clubs, golf courses.
Well, isn't that we're going to be the Detroit Auto Show is going to move to this year in August?
I'm actually super psyched about that. I don't like the name Motor Bell is dumb, but going to M1 Concourse is literally like it's the perfect facility. It's outdoor. It's going to feel like a festival. You have the track. You have an infield. You have clubhouses. You have you got skid pad, and you've got tons of space for exhibits, demonstrations, activations. Like the track is going to do ride-alongs. Like it's literally everything they wanted. Detroit has that too. Belle Isle could facilitate that too. In fact,
they proved it with
the
the
IndyCar track and also these beautiful buildings. You're also the sort of like the magic of you're driving over that bridge, you're getting on the little island there, and that becomes a little thing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Detroit's too busy trying to turn itself into a bike lane, and I don't know.
I shouldn't scoff at that. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm going to scoff at that because no one is riding their bikes right now because it's 12 degrees out. Like, makes sense. Makes sense. Like in countries where it makes sense, or states where it makes sense. In Michigan, you have 4 months, maybe 5, where you want to ride your bike.
Yeah, but the same goes for cars. You don't want to drive your car. Well, I guess cold pavement, cold tires equals lots of little pieces because of a wall.
Cold pavement, cold tires, no all-wheel drive, et cetera, et cetera. But like, you'd rather drive your car than ride your bike in that, would you not? At least your car.
I'd rather drive my car and ride my bike in a perfect day.
See.
Good point, man.
I know some hard guys though that like it's like, oh, my Miata is my winter car, and then I just ride my motorcycle, and I'm like, okay, yeah, go.
There we go. Thanks, Chris. Well, when I did
I was there for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was there for that. And
I was waiting. I was waiting because I turned and I had to wait because they were down a car.
Well, I remember so we were sitting, we were waiting. And when we were waiting for a little bit too long, right? It was like we were waiting for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I see the guy who like put this whole thing together. He's having a cigarette in the middle of the track because he's just like, oh shit,
FML.
We just called a prototype Camaro, which I think those things, like, I mean, the estimate is that those, like, you hand build like an Ivor, which is like the stage in GM speak.
Yeah.
What they were. That's like $300,000.
Oh, it ain't cheap. It ain't cheap in the least.
Cheap.
Was Al there?
Of course he was.
Oh, yeah.
Did anybody see the look on his face or hear the words that came out of his mouth that may or may not be repeated right now?
Jason, you can hear a pin drop.
Because Al was probably with an eye shot of it.
You could see steam. You could see the steam, and then you could hear a pin drop. And I think, who was it? Was it the guy? I'm gonna call this guy out. He was a Bloomberg auto critic, and man, I would like when I saw him try to do a burnout in that thing. He couldn't do a burnout, and he said, "Oh, I can't do a burnout." You're doing the burnout wrong, stupid. One, like, oh, I can't do it, and then the engineers are like, the engineers are ready to commit homicide. They're like, so pissed.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, what can I say to you? Like, I just, again, like, I just want to maim you, but I can't. And this guy just walks around like, again, like, his stuff don't stink. And I'm like, what is this? Like, Bloomberg, right? Yeah. Like millions, hundreds of millions of people. And this is who you hire? This is your guy? You're kidding.
Way to be told.
You're kidding. Like, what? Nothing. Life ain't fair, man. Life ain't fair.
Well, here's the thing. Let's just pause for one moment and talk about automotive journalism as a whole, since this is our first episode, right? What is one of the foundational principles of muscle cars and trucks? We don't break embargoes, right?
We don't break embargoes.
We want to earn the trust of our readers. We don't just throw crap out there just to say we've got 10 more articles, right?
We don't talk about boring cars.
We don't talk about boring cars. We don't write about boring cars. And we don't read about boring cars.
That's right.
And
we talk about the things that are that's got some meat to it,
We got meat and potatoes. Because at the end of the day, we're not a clickbait factory.
Mm-mm.
And, our strategy, I trust our strategy. I trust our content strategy. We're very news focused, right? And if you go on the search engines, you realize like how many page one hits, right, that Muscle Cars and Trucks has when you search for a muscle car or a truck, an American truck, and any American muscle car, Charger, Challenger, Mustang, Camaro, Corvette. We're there, and everybody parrots us. We get hits. I saw Fox News echoing us, I think from a week or two ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Gaslu linked back to us. Again, we know what we're doing, and we're veterans. And, as far as journalism goes in this industry, I am not happy with what I see. So I just try to be what it is not. And that's all I can do. Our guys are Sam and Lucas. We'll get them on the show. These guys are absolute workhorses.
And Michael,
they're amazing. They're amazingly talented writers, especially for as young as they are. And they're amazing people offline too. They're some of my they are some of my favorite human beings. And I love the team that we were able to put together.
Quit yawning. You're gonna make me yawn, and then Manny will yawn.
No, Manny's a night owl. He doesn't yawn.
Oh, that's right. Oh, he froze. Oh, do we lose him? Oh no. Oh no, we got him.
He's there.
Yeah, absolutely, Manny.
Choppy.
We do it. That's okay. So let me see if I can fill in the blanks. So we got a decent writing staff. We're all got to where we are because we're genuine car guys. We're just not there just to throw articles out the door and get people to click and then have them be disappointed by the time they even get halfway through the article. We got Sam, we got Lucas, we got Michael, right? Michael?
We got Michael Acciardi, the my favorite Sicilian man. He's you know, I'd go back with him too. I go back.
Sounds like you're gonna off somebody. You don't have to announce it here. So we're building a great writing. We built a great writing staff. We're going to continue to build a great writing staff. And what we want to do is encourage you who are watching this live stream, if you're still here, because we just kind of got into a rambling beer fest, which is what kind of what we intended it to be.
Your fault, not mine.
My fault. I didn't give you the beer.
We have been live for 1 hour and 35 minutes.
All right. I don't know how it's my fault. How's it my fault? Well, Chris is the one that's yawning.
This video will live on the Muscle Cars and Trucks Facebook page too, so you can forever.
So somebody can watch this idiocy over and over again. But where I was going with this, guys, to all who see this, check out musclecarsandtrucks.com if you haven't. If you kind of somehow found this stream not through the site, check it out, because it's all about integrity and great automotive journalism, great breaking news that we don't get credit for. And
only cover the fun shit.
There you go. Now the Friday night is coming out. Share it out to anybody who might find those articles valuable. There's tools inside each article to do so. Ta-da. Manny, what are you driving these days?
My Chevy S10.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for S10s.
I recently had a couple cars come my way. I'm going to start with this Chevy Silverado that I had that was decked out with Chevy performance accessories, all OEM and partners. It had a performance exhaust, which you can hear on our YouTube channel, the Muscle Cars and Trucks YouTube channel. The idle is fantastic. That thing growls. It absolutely growls. And it had all weather floor mats. And again, perfect. Like if you live in an all season
bench seat,
Michigan, you can only have the rubber floor mats. I don't understand the carpeted stuff in where I come from. So stuff that you can hose down and very easily clean up, salt and sand and mud and dirt and grime and stuff like that. Perfect. The Silverado also had a lift. It basically had the Trail Boss lift on what is not a Trail Boss. So you had a lot of wheel gap from the fender. And yet, like, you know, on the sides there wasn't a lot of clearance, but like on the top there was like that much. So it just looked like it was ready for like compression and rebound. But it had street tires. So it was very much like a street I guess like a street performance truck. Like it was all meant for show. It was meant to sort of like be attracted to the person who likes the taller ride height, doesn't like the knobbly road noise of the off-road tire, like the KM2, the KM3, the KO2, the Wrangler.
Are you communist?
The Wranglers. So so it was a quiet ride despite having the tall height. And it also, I think it had like 22-inch wheels, 22-inch black accessory wheels. It also had a blackout accessory badging. It had a cold air intake. It had like almost 15 grand in kit.
What are we talking about again? Are we talking about the S10 or the Silverado?
This is a Silverado, sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So this Silverado, it was a crew cab.
So what happened to it?
It went back. Chevy took it from me.
Why?
They said it couldn't have it anymore.
Sons of bitches.
I don't make the rules.
Forever.
I don't make the rules.
I can't wait till you get the C8.
So, you know, when it warms up, hopefully. What year Silverado Manny? It's a 2020. It was 2020 to 2021. I can actually now that you're asking, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna get my schedule here.
All right. So while he's doing that, Chris, damn it, Chris, what are you driving these days?
I have a 2020 Chevy Blazer.
How do you like that?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yes, it's a great riding vehicle. It's the red line. It's got the V6. I have a blast in it. I love it. It looks good.
Let me ask you this: there was a time when you and I both had Trailblazer SSs.
Yes.
And I still miss that vehicle. I loved that truck, wagon, whatever. I loved it.
Yep.
I don't think I've quite loved a vehicle as much as that Trailblazer SS. For my own reasons. Chris, how do you compare the appreciation of that? I'll get you, Manny. Hold on. You lost your spot. Chris, how do you measure your appreciation of that new Blazer compared to your old Trailblazer SS as your life has evolved?
The Trailblazer SS was a different type of vehicle. It was more brute strength, nice. It had the LS3 in it, and you just it would just go. And I remember Chris White tuned it for me too. So that was even better.
Oh yeah.
Compared to the new, the new Blazer.
Yeah.
The new Blazer is like whatever. The vehicle that I am driving is a wonderful vehicle.
As a family man.
It's good. It's got my creature comforts in it. It's got Apple CarPlay. It's got heated seats. It gets good gas mileage. It's got the power lift gate in the back. Vito is comfortable in it, and the wife's comfortable in it, and it looks good.
Well, that the second to the last was the most important part. Making sure that the wife is comfortable in it as being married for 20 plus years. I know.
Do you think she'd be comfortable in a Bronco?
I don't know.
My wife, probably. Chris?
I don't generally. I've never bought any other car other than a General Motors car.
I really. The whole Blazer thing, man. Just. Someone needs to be punished.
I do not disagree.
Chris Williams, to answer your question, it was a 2020 Silverado. But moving on from that, I actually had the whole rundown of the accessories. Colorado Trail. No, not that.
While you're looking at
no, it's right
Chris.
Here. Hold on.
You got it. Okay. All right. That's cool.
Don't do this to me. So I had the 5.3 V8. So this was the L84 with the exhaust kit, and it still sounded awesome. It had Trail Boss spec steel spring kits, 2-inch lift, stuffs and things. But right after that, I was one of the first people to drive the new 2021 Silverado Colorado ZR2. And that thing was awesome. That thing was amazing.
I could have bought one.
Wait, did you not? Oh, you did buy a Colorado, right?
I bought a Z71 with an Icon lift kit on it from the dealership. And I like it.
Yeah. Catback exhaust, cold air intake, 2-inch lift. This is still Silverado, sorry. Oh, it had the red calipers. That's right. 22s. Off-road assist steps. Didn't really like those.
Chris, is that your clock? I forgot about that.
But this so the Colorado ZR221 had the new Dune like brown paint. Man, did that look good.
Really?
It had a sport bar. It had
Dune?
It had the lights on the top, the LED off-road lights on the top. It had cold air intake kit. It was the V6. And then it had
ooh, I do know that color. Yeah, it looks good.
It looks so good. It was basically the SEMA truck from 2019. It was the exact build. They just the light bar is swapped out. That was like the only difference. And that thing is a riot, man. It's like, and it still has the regular key. That you got a key to the ignition, and that was super cool. Because what no other GM, almost like no car. It's all push to start now. So it was like oh, throwback. Let's go.
Yeah, terrible if you own it, which I do. My 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee had push button start 9 years ago. My 2020 Colorado, I still got to figure out the right angle to stick that son of a bitch in there. Terrible.
Yeah, but you still have remote start. You still do all the things that.
I don't use that. What am I, some sort of wuss?
I just thought after the whole ignition thing that everybody's going to go to push button.
Well, everyone is going to push button.
Yeah, they are.
Again, like that's sort of like all the technology sort of like meeting, right? That's that just is the cybersecurity.
Yeah.
That is
right, because you're going to be able to start your car and control it from your iPhone soon.
Or not.
Well, I guess I can't because I have a key.
Here's a mental exercise. Say you want your car to autonomously drive you to the civil demonstration.
Not a chance.
And the car says no.
I disagree with your ideals right now. I disagree with everything that you stand for, and therefore I shall not drive you to where you want to be. You can take an Uber or whatever.
You got to remember that, to kind of like circle back to where we started. Like OEMs are the hedge fund managers, and everybody else is meme stonks.
Good way to tie it in. Good way to tie it in.
Good analogy.
Yeah. All right, we are probably starting to run out of time and bore the living crap out of our audience right now, so we got to cut this off at some point. But this was a great first volley into the regular live stream bullshitting.
Yeah, someone comment.
Yeah, Chris Williams asked, "What's our stream?" Yeah, there we go. We'd like to do this once a week, probably a little more structured, probably not quite as long. I think it would be ideal because, I mean, you guys all have lives. The intent was to do a weekly rundown and then also have a smattering of BSing in it. But since it's our first time out, we're just going to kind of feel it out, right?
Yeah.
Boys, it's kind of hard to narrow down the news. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of news.
Well, I think that moving forward, we probably, give the weekly rundown of the stories that were released, and then just kind of like a couple of bullet points on it, and then move on, and then get into the BSing later on for those hardcore enthusiasts that stick around. That's how we probably ought to do it. I think. I don't know. What do I know?
With the whole pandemic and everything, no one's going out anymore to have beers.
This is a Friday night.
Yeah,
it is a Friday night, and I ain't got nobody.
15 degrees out, and no restaurants are open. No bars are open either.
Want to sit outside, except it's inside, but the outside is inside. Or the inside is outside now, so
right.
It's fine. Whatever.
Let's see here. All right, so Galtzar Gulchar, Chris.
Yeah.
Shane McBride. No, not you, Chris. Chris
Oh.
Williams. Shane McBride. Hey, Chris. I'm sorry. Hey, Shane. My apologies.
Shane.
Anybody who's tuned in right now, what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see this weekly? We're thinking about trying it weekly.
We leave it up normally to the people. They would want it every day.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you what. If we did do it every day, it'd be like easier to chew.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I guess. But probably weekly, bi-weekly, probably weekly. I don't know. Whatever we feel like it. Why don't we do this? Why don't we try it again next Friday night? Same time, same channel, or channels, depending on how you guys watch it.
Chanel.
It's Chanel. Oh,
Totally.
this is fun. This is good. This is good. Keeps me from being out in the cold garage because even right now it's cold here in Nashville, Tennessee.
What's the temperature in Nashville?
Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Oh my god.
It's 32.
Make sure mine didn't go off.
Right now, I just made a bunch of, I say a words go off around the country. 32. It's a little bit colder for down here, so.
No, it's not too bad.
All right. I think it's time we wrap this up. We did enough BSing, but guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching. Head on over to musclecarsandtrucks.com. There will be a forum that greets you to enter your email address. We would love for you to enter your email address. That way you can get the daily 10-second review of everything that's been going on in the automotive world. And there is zero spam. There is it's easy to digest. Easy to digest, much less easy for me to say. And every morning before you get up, typically, you're going to get a rundown of everything that was published the night before. That way you don't miss out on anything. And then even if you do, come on back, watch this show again because we're going to do the recap all over again. So, Chris Williams will change his name. All right. Well, wonderful. Chris, thank you so much, buddy. Thanks, everybody who watched. I think we're about ready to wrap up, guys. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Hey, what parting shots do we have before we go?
No, I'm not doing no shots.
No.
Party shots?
Oh, you're thinking about the old days in Debler's Bar.
Yeah. Yeah, he said parting shots. I'm like, no, we're not doing
parting
shots.
words do you have before we depart for the week? I'll tell you what, I'll start. Everybody, as always, be safe. Buckle your safety belts. Do not drink and drive. Where are you going to go if you're going to drink and drive anyway? Just stay home and drink, just like what we've been doing. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Muscle Cars and Trucks for letting me host this video on my YouTube channel. Appreciate that a lot. Chris, what do you got?
Stay safe out there, guys. Stay safe. And I'm looking forward to the spring.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to the spring.
Mm-hmm.
The thaw. Getting the Camaro back out.
There you go. We didn't talk about what with the other car you're driving. We'll cover that next week. Manny, what you got for a parting shot?
A little bit left.
Cheers.
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 I have nothing left, but I'll
Cheers.
drink this.
Cheers.
Cheers, gears, and beers. There we go, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. We'll try it again. Feedback is always encouraged. Thank you all.